There are a few things that digital nomads are doing that are really upsetting Mexican people when they move to Mexico. Digital nomads are people who work on their computers and can live anywhere. Many are moving to Mexico because it's sunny, fun, and not as expensive as where they're from. But something strange is starting to happen because of it. The people who live in Mexico are beginning to notice changes in their cities and neighborhoods. Some of them are very upset about it. By the end of this video, you'll see both sides of what's really happening. You'll see how money, culture, and community are colliding in ways that no one expected. You might look at remote work in a completely different way. Number one, pricing Mexicans out of homes. Okay, here's what's happening in Mexico. A lot of new people are moving there. They bring their computers and work online from pretty places. They get paid in strong money like US or Canadian dollars. But people who live in Mexico get paid in pesos. Now, when those new people look for homes, they can pay a lot more. The house owners see that and they say, hey, I can charge more money. So they start asking for rent in dollars. That makes it super hard for families who already live there. A teacher or a driver can't pay that much. So they have to move far away from the city, or they start moving further and further away from the city. Soon, old neighborhoods start to change. The people who grew up there leave. The shops and friends go too with it. The place feels different and kind of empty. This doesn't just happen in Mexico. It happens in a lot of other countries around the world, and in many big cities too. What happens is that rich people, investors, get more money, and it makes prices go higher. And normal people have to pay more for the same small place they would pay a lot less in the past. Some people say that Mexico should make some rules. Maybe stop rents from jumping too high. Maybe make sure that rent is always paid in pesos. That could help a little, but I don't think it will fix the problem. The real problem is bigger. It starts with the people in charge, how they handle the money. The government, how they handle the money, really. When people fight about who to blame, those people at the top keep making more money while everybody else fights. Till all of this changes, all these problems change, prices will keep going up and families will keep getting pushed further and further from their homes. Number two, turning neighborhoods into Airbnbs. Now let's talk about something you've probably seen before. Those little houses that you can rent online for a few days. It all sounds fun, right? Well, in a lot of Mexican cities and towns, something weird is happening. Houses that used to belong to families aren't homes anymore. They're turned into mini hotels. People from other countries rent them for a few weeks and then leave. The owners make more money renting short term than renting to families for years. So what happens? Normal families can't find a place to live in their own city or town. Prices go up again, and those quiet neighborhoods that used to have kids playing outside now have suitcases rolling down the sidewalk every day. It's kind of like turning your whole neighborhood into a hotel lobby. Shops change too. Instead of selling groceries, they start selling souvenirs or fancy coffees because that's what travelers buy. Now, some people think that Airbnb is the main villain of this story. But it's not that simple. The real problem is that money always chases profit. If you can make double renting short term, most landlords will do it. I mean, you'll do it if you had a property that you were renting out. You would definitely want to make double, right? It's just business math, really. But cities haven't caught up to this. There aren't enough rules to keep some homes for locals or build new ones that they can afford. There's no money in it. Some places around the world are trying to fix this by making new rules. Like saying, hey, you can only rent a home for a few weeks per year, or you have to pay an extra tax to help build affordable housing. That helps a little, but the best fix might be building more homes that real families can actually afford, not just fancy condos for profit. Like places in Mexico, they're only building these big condos that are luxury condos for profit, like just to make a lot of money. And I mean, businesses are usually in business to make money, right? But a neighborhood isn't a business. It's supposed to be where people live and have their home. Number three, treating Mexico like a discount paradise. Now let's talk about why people move to Mexico to work on their computers. One big reason is that things cost way less here, but people end up saying, wow, my money goes further in Mexico. That means they can buy more stuff with less money. A lot of people on the internet call this geo arbitrage. It's a fancy word that means you earn strong money, like dollars, and spend it somewhere where there's a weaker currency, like pesos. It sounds really smart, right? But when a lot of people do this at the same time, prices start to rise, especially in areas where more US dollars are being spent. Think about it. If someone makes US dollars paying rent or eating out in Mexico, it starts to feel very cheap. So they don't mind to spend more. But for people who live in Mexico, that same rent or meal costs too much once the prices start to rise. Soon shops and restaurants start changing their prices to match what foreigners can pay. A cup of coffee that used to be 30 pesos becomes 60. Not because it tastes better, but because visitors can afford it easily. This makes two worlds, one for foreigners and one for Mexicans. And that space gets bigger between them every year. It's not really the visitors' fault. The real problem is that the workers in Mexico still earn too little. Hey, just a quick heads up. I started a new WhatsApp community where you can actually reach me directly. It's a simple place to chat, share ideas, and stay connected, especially if one day I just disappear from YouTube or for whatever reason. So if you've been watching my videos and you want a place to actually talk, ask questions, or just stay in the loop, come join this group. The link will be in the description. Mexico's economy is strong, even stronger than Spain's. But most people don't see that strength in their paycheck. If wages were more fair here and the people earn more, they can compete for a better life and actually live comfortably in their own cities. Still, cheap living shouldn't come with someone else's struggle. That's the problem. When we visit or move to a new country, we should think about our money choices affecting others. If Mexico's growth helps everybody, like locals and visitors, then life gets better for everyone. That's the kind of balance we should hope for in this world. We should all be striving for this and trying to figure it out together. Number 4, not learning Spanish. Now let's talk about language, the way people talk to each other. In many big cities in Mexico, people who move there don't have to learn Spanish most of the time. That's the main language in Mexico, obviously. But lots of places now have English menus, workers who speak both English and Spanish, and we all have phones that can translate anything into a different language if we need it. Because of that, many people don't try to learn Spanish at all. And you know what? Most Mexican people are super kind about it. When they meet someone who doesn't speak Spanish, they often switch to English or smile and try their best to help out. Sometimes they even talk to me in English just to practice their English. That makes life easier for newcomers. And some people say that Spanish isn't needed. You can get food, rent a place, and make friends without it. But learning it helps a lot. When you speak the same language as people around you, you understand them better. You can make deeper friendships, join jokes, and feel a part of the community. I feel that way. I don't speak very good Spanish. And I was at a party yesterday, and when I'm at these parties, I wish I can speak better Spanish just to be more involved in the conversations, instead of just sitting there like a fool. And for me personally, my wife and kids speak Spanish, so I want to learn too. I want to talk to people without using my phone or asking someone to translate it to English. And it's okay if learning a new language takes time. Say simple words like hola or gracias. It shows respect. It tells people that you care about their country and culture. So what do you think? Should people always learn the local language where they move, if they move somewhere new? Or is getting by enough? Let me know in the comments. Number 5, working in cafes all day. So now let's talk about something that happens a lot in cafes in Mexico. Some people who work on their computers go there early in the morning. They buy a small coffee, open their laptop, and sit there all day to work. They use cafes like it's their office. At first, it might not seem bad. The cafe owners get money, right? But here's what happens. When the tables are full of working people, other people who want to sit and talk and just relax with their friends can't find a place. The cafes start to feel quite serious instead of fun and friendly. For many Mexicans, cafes are places to meet friends or spend time with family. When that feeling disappears, it makes people sad. That's just a simple way of saying it. Prices can also go up because cafes start thinking more about workers with laptops than neighbors who come for snacks and to talk with each other. The cozy spot that felt like home turns into a workspace. And I used to do this too. Back when I started working online about 10 years ago, over 10 years ago, maybe 12 years ago now, I didn't know it bothered anyone. I didn't think I was bothering anyone. But now I try to be more thoughtful if I do go work in a cafe. I buy more than one thing and don't stay too long. And if it gets really busy, I move. I go maybe to a different place, a different cafe, or I go home. This is especially important in small cafes owned by families, not big ones like Starbucks. Maybe the best idea is balance for everyone. Cafes could have some more tables for workers, and other tables can be dedicated for other people who want to enjoy their time, maybe. That way, everyone can share this space in their own way. When a place welcomes both worker and neighbor, it stays full of life. And a cafe isn't only for coffee, it's for people too. So just remember and make some space for other people to enjoy it also. Number six, skipping taxes in Mexico. Okay, now let's talk about something many people don't like to talk about: taxes. Taxes are the money that people give to the government so it can build things that everyone uses, like roads, schools, and hospitals. But here's the problem: a lot of digital nomads who move to Mexico for work don't pay taxes here. They work for companies in their home countries so they can pay taxes back home instead. That's usually okay and legal here. Depends on what country you come from. But there are rules and regulations to that. I won't get into that deeply. But it makes things a little bit unfair. Actually, it makes things quite unfair in some ways. Think about it. People in Mexico pay taxes that help keep the city clean and safe. But many of them don't pay tax to help take care of those things. So local people, local Mexican people, end up paying for everything, even for the people who aren't helping with the cost. Most nomads don't mean to do this on purpose, I don't think. Well, I hope not. A lot of them are just following their own country's rules. But still, when tens of thousands of people live in a city for months or even years without adding to the local taxes, it can make things feel a little uneven. Mexico is thinking about how to fix this problem. And some countries already have special visas for remote workers. These visas let people live there and pay fair taxes without being double taxed basically. And Mexico even has deals with countries like US and Canada, so people don't pay twice. But if someone stays in Mexico for more than a half a year, they're supposed to pay taxes here too, or at least claim them. And some do, but many don't. That's not fair. Everyone should help take care of the place they live, even if it's not forever, because sharing makes life better for everyone. Number seven, treating Mexico like a playground. Now let's talk about what happens after people finish their work in Mexico. Some of them party a lot. In many popular areas, there's music every night. People dancing in the streets and bars full until morning. That sounds fun, right? But for families who live nearby, it's hard sometimes. It feels like they're stuck in someone else's vacation 24/7. Mexico is known for being happy and welcoming. People love to celebrate, and that's part of what makes it special. The problem starts when people move here to work, but they act like they're on holiday every single day. They think the rules don't matter to them. They live in the same place, but they don't treat it like home. And social media makes it worse. Some visitors post videos showing how wild or cheap Mexico is. When others see this online, they want to come do the same thing. Soon more and more people show up, and the parties grow louder. The people who actually live there start to feel tired and disrespected. Now, having fun isn't wrong. Everyone should enjoy life. But when you move somewhere, even for a little while, you become part of that place. You have neighbors, kids go to school, and people still have jobs to do the next morning. They have to go to work. Respecting them shows kindness. If people remember that, things would feel better for everyone. You can still have fun, meet friends, and dance. Just do it with care for the people around you. Have a little respect, because Mexico isn't a playground. It's a home full of real people, real families, and real lives that keep going after the music stops. Number 8, posting authentic Mexican content. Now let's talk about something that happens online. Many people who move to Mexico love to take pictures and videos of the place. It's beautiful here. Of course they do. But some people post them online and call it authentic Mexico. You see colorful streets, tacos, markets, and smiling faces. It all looks beautiful. But for some people who actually live here, it can feel strange. They see their homes and their everyday lives turned into content for someone else's video. A family serving food in a small stand becomes somebody's travel story. Busy neighborhoods turn into a real culture on the screen. The videos aren't always meant to be mean, but they can still feel like people are showing off instead of understood. And when those videos get really popular, thousands of people want to visit the same spots. Crowds come to the same markets and streets, and prices go up, rent rises, and many of the people who live there don't get any of the extra money. Their quiet neighborhood suddenly feels like a show. Taking pictures isn't bad, and sharing stories can be good. The problem is when people forget that others are living there for real also. The best way to fix this is easy. Ask before filming, tag the local businesses, and spend money at the places that you're showing off. If your videos make money, you can even give a little back to the community. Remember this, Mexico isn't a movie set. It's a home for millions of people. When you share it with honesty and respect, your story becomes more beautiful and more real. Number 9, ignoring community issues. Now let's talk about something many people forget when they move to a new place. Being part of the community. Lots of digital nomads live in Mexico for months or even years. They rent homes, they go to cafes, and they enjoy beaches and cities like everyone. But when it comes to helping those communities, most of them don't take part in it. They don't join local events. They don't learn what's happening, like what's going on around them. And they don't help when problems come up. It's not because most of them are mean or malicious. I don't think that's the reason. It's because they don't always see themselves part of the neighborhood. When rent goes higher, roads break, or things need to be fixed in the city, it's usually the local people who stand up and try to make things better. They work hard to protect their homes and make the city nicer. The visitors get to enjoy those improvements, but they don't always help to make things happen. After a while, that feels pretty unfair. And Mexicans might start thinking, why do we all do the work while they get to enjoy it? Being a part of the community doesn't mean you have to go to these big meetings or protests. It can be simple. You can shop at nearby stores, say hello to your neighbors, and support small local projects. Just get involved a little bit. Even learning how things work in your area shows that you care. A community isn't something you move into. It's something you join, help, and grow with. If you live somewhere, even for a short time, that place becomes a small part of you, and you become a small part of it. That's what makes a neighborhood feel like home. So just remember that. Number 10, leaving without caring. Now let's talk about what happens when people leave Mexico after living there for a while. Many digital nomads don't stay in one place for very long. They move from country to country, and every few months, they move again. That sounds exciting, right? You can pack your bags, see new places, and meet new people. But then they leave. And some of the problems that they helped make, they stay behind. When lots of travelers move to a city, rent often goes up. Landlords start charging more because they know people will pay it. And when those travelers leave, the doesn't go back down. It goes higher. And you got to remember, local families still pay those prices, those high prices, even though they don't cause them. This quick moving in and out also makes it hard for neighborhoods to feel stable. Landlords focus on short stays instead of long ones. Small shops lose regular customers. People stop knowing who their neighbors are because the faces keep changing. Some travelers try to help. They make real friends, they support local stores, and show respect before they go. They leave good memories behind. But many others don't think that far ahead. They treat each place like a stop on a long vacation. Living in a new country is a big gift. You get to enjoy food, music, and people. But that gift comes with responsibility too. When you take care of a place by spending money locally, following the rules, and being kind, you give something back. That's what makes the difference between being a visitor and being part of something real. Digital nomads didn't make all Mexico's problems, but they helped show some of them more clearly. The real goal isn't to blame anyone, it's to find balance. People who live in Mexico and the people that move there should enjoy life without hurting each other. And this is possible, I believe. If you watched this far, I'm sure you liked this video. And I have good news. I have more videos like this one. This is called Is Mexico the New American Dream? If you click it, I'll see you there. Thanks for watching.